everybody, this is Keith here of Euphoria Pictures. Welcome back to my channel. Right folks, so for this video it's going to be a simple update video. I'm going to be making you aware of some of the changes that we have made when it comes to this movie room. Nothing too drastic, just a lot of moving around. And I've always said it that if I can change things up in here to make everything flow a bit better, I will definitely look into it. And that's exactly what we've done. That's exactly what we've accomplished. Like for instance, it was very important to me to get my entire Arrow video collection all onto one shelf. We managed to do it with these changes. Not only that, but a lot of my collector's editions like Warner Brothers, Studio Canal, Universal, I always wanted all of them together on one shelf. Again, we accomplished it. And you have to know, anyone that's aware of my channel, I am a big fan of Filmarena, particularly their one-click editions. And I always wanted to be able to display them beautifully all on one shelf. And again, we managed to do it with the changes that we've made here. But there's a few other things that we've done as well. I actually used to have my 4K and my Blu-ray Steelbook collections together. Was never happy about it. I always wanted them separate, and that's exactly what we've done here. So my 4Ks are on the left, my Blu-rays are on the right. As a matter of fact, I've actually moved my entire 4K collection just so I could actually free up a lot of space for me. I'm also going to be showing you my TV, where all my equipment is. We made a little change there a couple of months back. I never kind of addressed it in any of my videos, so I said I'd do it in this as well. And not only that, but I'm also going to be talking about some of the changes that we're going to be making in the future, and it's mainly to do with what's behind me. And if it turns out as good as we're hoping it's going to be, it should make quite a drastic difference when it comes to my movie room. But again, I'm not going to say anything. I'll let my video do the talking. But the one big difference that we have made is what's under me. This is the real eye catcher. You know, when you walk into my room, it's the first thing you're going to notice. And we couldn't be any more happier with the change that we made here. And I really do hope you appreciate it. Right folks, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to take us around these changes, and look, I really hope you enjoy them. Right, so here we go. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is my actual two-seater recliner. So you will notice that the seat cushions look rather different to the actual the rest of the two-seater itself, and it's because we reupholstered the seats. What was happening was they were fading very badly, particularly on the right hand side. There was actually a big rip on it. So we had to address that. It was really annoying us, and I have to admit the black and white colour scheme just works incredibly well on this. We couldn't be more happier with it. But then I'm going to take you in here, and I'm sure you've noticed that on my videos, but as you can see, that is the X-Men Adamantium collection. That piece is a real pain in the ass to try and find a spot in this room for. I never liked, every time I put it somewhere, I was never happy with it. And I was just messing in the room one day, and I noticed this space between both cushions. And I kind of said to myself that if I was able to mount it onto the shelf behind, I think it would look rather nice, because it didn't sit, like, we had it sitting down, it just didn't seem right. It needed to be mounted. And now, as you can see, it displays absolutely beautifully. Now, another thing that I wanted to quickly show you as well was, this actually got a great response on Twitter when Ellen posted it up, but we always wanted a new rug in this room. And we were watching The Shining, and when we finished watching it, we kind of said it wouldn't be great if we can actually get a rug that looks similar to the carpet in the Overlook. And that's exactly what we got. As you can see, it is a perfect replica from the actual movie itself. And it actually breathes a bit of life into this room, just adds some wanted colour. But we never thought a thing like this actually existed. And I'm not kidding you, it's frightening how good this actually looks, especially when you stack it up against the movie itself. So yes, it's nice to have something in this room, a nice nod to one of my favourite horror movies. Now, I'm sure if you're aware of my channel, of course I do have a new Sony OLED flagship TV, and we're having a blast with it at the moment, going through some of my favourites, and every single one of them look absolutely amazing. But we had this TV sitting on a floating stand. As well, as a matter of fact, we still have it sitting on a floating stand. It's just very well hidden because we opted to buy this table. And the reason to why I got this table is because my sound system, as you can see, it is huge and it weighs an absolute ton. And we had this sitting on kind of like a floating stand. And every time we came into the room, you could see the kind of floating stand, it was just starting to fall, starting to tilt. and we had to address that because it would have dragged down the TV with it if it did fall off. So we opted to get this table. But not only that, as you can see, everything does fit in rather beautifully. You got the Xbox, PlayStation, even a bit of space there for my Caesar bust. And of course you got the fridge freezer as well, and my brand new Sony 4K player is sitting just above it. So everything is nice, neat and compact. No wire showing as well, which is very important when it comes to a setup like this. Now another thing I wanted to quickly address is my Steelbooks. So naturally the ones in the top, my Halloween ones, I was not going to go near. Because it's my favourite franchise, and not only that, but everything on top are kind of metal pack editions, so I didn't want to go near them. But I have changed a few down the bottom. For instance, the Children of the Corn one, I actually had that up there originally, and I took it down and I missed it, so I put it back up. But these two here, Ex Machina and My Bloody Valentine, they were given to me as gifts, so naturally I was going to put them on the wall. Then I came across this Steelbook that I had of Ghostland, and I fell in love with the Steelbook the minute I seen it. Thankfully the movie was good as well. It was a bit of a gamble. But I have a backlight on my TV, and when the TV lights up, their eyes light up as well. It's very sinister looking. And then another Steelbook edition, or metal pack edition that I got, was this Underground Werewolf, or Cellar Dweller, as we know it by. And this was gifted to me as well, so naturally up on the wall it was going. So that's the great thing when it comes to displaying Steelbooks like this. You can change them whenever you want, and it does make a difference. It catches your eye. Now another thing we addressed in here is along the top. So as you can see, this is my one-click editions from Filmarena, and I always wanted them displaying on one shelf. I actually had them over here, but I actually ran out of room, so I opted to put them here. So from Child 44, basically the whole way across to Joker are all my one-click editions, and then when it goes from the Joker onwards, the likes of Dr. Sleep and Godzilla, they're all kind of Black Baron editions. And then I have a little space here at the end where I put in my Pet Sematary and my Inglourious Basterds edition. But the one thing I did do, I thought was just quite funny, so I decided to keep it. As you can see, my Planet of the Apes and Joker, it kind of just forms one face, and it just cracks me up every time I look at it, so I actually purposely put that together. So yes, that was important to get all of them together. So when you go over here, you'll notice my Walking Dead statues on the top, and these three massive box sets that I had for Maverick, Blade Runner and the Bourne collection. Them Walking Deads, they were behind me originally, and they were sitting there by themselves, and it just never seemed right. So I decided to move them and put them beside my busts. And I don't know why, but I just felt that they kind of complemented each other a lot more than just having them separate by themselves. So yes, very happy with how that turned out, and I have no intention of ever moving them again. Now another thing I wanted to do over here was I wanted to add some kind of uniformity when it comes to my my collector's editions. Like for instance, there on top, a lot of these are German releases, or just kind of separate kind of Steelbook editions. They even have kind of imprint there as well from Australia. And then right under it, I was able to put my Everything Blue releases together. As you can see in the corner there, that's the two Avatar movies. They were a pain in the ass to try and find a spot in here. They're incredibly wide, so I had to put them at the end of a shelf. But then right here is my Umbrella collection, and I wouldn't have a single title from Umbrella if it wasn't from my good friend Conor Gray. He gifted me every single one of them. Unbelievable. So right under that then you have the Warner Brothers collector's editions, and as you can see there's a bit of space there for a few more, but nothing has been announced, so yeah, bit of a shame that. So then I have my collector's editions for Studio Canal, and much like Warner Brothers, nothing has been announced. So you got Paramount in the middle there, and then of course the collector's editions from Universal. And then right under there is, I was able to put my Arrow video collection together, which is incredibly important. I don't have the biggest Arrow video collection, but it's a collection I'm very proud of nonetheless, sorry. So to actually put that all together on one shelf, you know, not just the collector's edition box sets, but to have the Steelbooks, even my window box editions and the standard Amaray editions, all together, I just think it looks beautiful. So proud of that collection. And then of course you got the Black Maria down the bottom, and it's kind of holding my collection together. So yeah, great, that shelf, I'm so happy with how that's turned out. I couldn't be more happier. So over here, not much has changed. Like for instance, I still have my Titans sitting on top there. And then my Filmarena XL editions, even though I'm out of space now, so I'm going to have to make my way down here. But I have, these are my Steelbook Blu-ray editions. Now they used to be behind me, I had them on the ground and they just never looked right, I was never happy with them. So I decided to put them over here. Now the thing is, I don't need much space when it comes to Blu-ray Steelbooks because I don't really buy them anymore. Most of the Steelbooks that I buy now are 4K. So I'm okay not having too much space, but yeah, if I keep going with the XL editions from Filmarena, I'm going to have to come up with something. Now, another thing that we addressed here, everything basically is the same. But I did mention in one of my videos that we had a radiator in this room, and we don't use it. And it just annoyed me to look at it, and I always wanted to block it up. And that's exactly what I've done here. So I got a couple of figures like Child's Play, Trick or Treat, of course my Nakatomi Plaza. And then I found a couple of more box sets like my Saw Edition, Big Lebowski and Dune. And then of course I drew a couple of busts on top as well. And I have to admit, it looks pretty cool. You can sort of make out the radiator there on the back, but for the most part, it's all hidden. So yes, very happy with how that's all turned out. So that's everything that we've kind of done over on this wall. And when I turn back around, then you're greeted to what is my second Sight collection. I don't have the biggest second Sight collection, but the ones I do have, I absolutely love. And then right under there is my 4K Steelbooks. So again, it was nice to be able to have them all together on one shelf. Again, running out of room, but there is a bit of good news to that, which I'll be showing now in a second. So that's my 4K Steelbooks, and then this is my entire 4K collection. And all of this was actually behind me, but I was actually running out of room, so I opted to put it over here. And there is a small bit of space, like there's things that can be moved, like that Star Wars box set. Even right down the bottom, I do have my Midnight Classics. I'm not too happy that they're sitting right in the bottom, so I'm hoping to move them. But all of them box sets can be moved, so there's a bit of space there for me. But even if I do run out of space, I actually have a spare shelf over here as well. So I'm actually covered for a couple of 100 titles, so it'll do me for a while. So the rest then is simply just my Blu-ray collection. But we were able to put up a few more kind of display pieces as well. Like for instance, that is my ultimate editions of the Harry Potter movies. Adventures of Tintin, that was actually just gifted to me recently. And then we just have a few more collector's editions facing outwards. Again, they can all be moved in the future and kind of just have the spines facing out. So yeah, there's a bit more space there if I need it. So another thing that we had to address, of course, is seeing I put the Filmarena editions above my TV. My Steelbook box sets were there, so I opted to put them all over here. And as you can see, they do go quite nicely, well, bar the few that's in the corner there, the Lord of the Rings, a couple of collector's box sets. But basically from Batman, the whole way down, is all of my Steelbook box sets. Bar the few at the end there. As you can see, there's a one-click edition of Last Action Hero, Indiana Jones and Harry Potter. But as you can see, they're all the exact same size, and yeah, I think they go very well together. So very happy with how all of that has turned out. And not only that, but I was able to turn a few of the box sets, like for instance the Halloween one, and have the artwork facing out, which is quite important to me as well. So that is what I've done to the top here. And that's basically the bulk of everything that we've done in this room. Now, there is one thing that we are currently looking into, and it actually is these shelves here that's holding my entire bus collection. We are looking to replace every single one of them. We think that white, like these shelves here, will look a hell of a lot better. My Blu-ray collection seems to stand out more with white shelves, and we think that it'll do the same for my bus collection. So we are currently looking into that. It's going to have doors on them as well, and hopefully I can put some lights in and just basically light everything up. So that's what we are currently working on. So I'm sure I'll do an update video on that whenever I get around to doing it. Now another thing as well is a small little change here. This was given to us at Christmas. My brother-in-law Chris actually gifted this to me. It's a doormat, and as you can see, it's some of my favourite horror icons. So that was a nice little touch. So when it comes to the display stands, nothing has really changed. My latest edition was Maniac, but nothing else has moved. Now when it comes to the other display case, there's only one difference that we changed, and it was my Watchman edition. So it was quite massive, that piece, so I wanted to get it into the display stand, but I had to do kind of a bit of moving around. And what I done was, I originally had it was Sleepy Hollow, this bust here, and I had every intention of kind of doing something with that in the display stand. I was going to put a moon behind it, but I had to change my plans on that, unfortunately. But still displays rather beautifully, and look, it's a small compromise, but to get that Watchman in there, it was very important to me. So there you have it, folks. That is everything that we've done in this room. Not what you call significant changes, but they make a difference, particularly, again, going back to this rug. It just catches your eye the minute you walk into this room, and we couldn't be more happier with how everything has turned out. So there you go, folks. That's just a small look at some of my updates that I've made. Right, folks, so there you have it. That is everything that we've changed when it comes to this room. And like I said, nothing too drastic, but everything just flows a lot better now. But the one thing that I absolutely love is the shining rug, the overlook rug. When you walk through that door, it's the first thing you see, and it literally just catches your eye. It makes so much of a difference when it comes to this room. And we were very nervous when we ordered it, because we didn't know what it was going to be like. Like, we thought it was going to be this real cheap knockoff. We thought it was going to be real faded. But we couldn't be more happier with how it's turned out. And in terms of what I'm doing behind me, we're currently looking into it now. I think this weekend, we're going to go down and see if we can find the right shelving that we need. Everything has to be very specific. We have a certain space to play with. But we're hoping to utilize that space as much as we can. And if it turns out to be as good as we're hoping it will be, yeah, very, very exciting, to say the least. Right, so there you have it, folks. That is my video. So as per usual, if you did like what you see here, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you could do, leave a comment down below. And please do share your thoughts on some of the changes that I've made here. And yeah, I hope to see you all again real soon with my next video. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.